Hi y'all, Tom here. Today I want to talk about a trip across Texas, from El Paso to the town of Uncertain, to visit beautiful Caddo Lake and more. And I can sort of see where Texas is on this map, but not very clearly. We can see clearly the transition from a dry west to a wet and green east. Down along the west coast of Mexico here we also see quite a bit of green. And it will be easier to see things if we put in artificial labels and borders. This is the path we took. Let's see what it looks like. So there's a star for Texas and a water park over there. And that way over there is New Mexico. Due west is also New Mexico, with Mexico to the south. And coming into El Paso, we see just how dry everything is here. We also can see that we have smashed bugs on our windshield. Now to the south, we see that wretched border wall. A better view itself is Ciudad Juarez. I love to look out into Juarez while driving along here. I love to see how the style of building is different than on this side of the border. But views can't last forever. Roads and buildings and city get in the way. Now over there, I find that fascinating. That's El Cerro de la Biblia, Bible Hill, Bible Mountain. Different than the words you usually see in most cities. It says, Ciudad Juarez, la Biblia es la verdad, léela. And I always find this fascinating to look at. But moving on, heading east out of El Paso, we still see how dry everything is starting out. There's a long way to go. The population is very sparse through much of this area. Turning a little bit green, and we have oil rigs pumping. A lot of those to see along the way. And one thing to look out for in most towns is the water tower. It's one of the ways the community identifies itself in some ways. And some have a lot of character. And here we're in the vicinity of Midland, Texas, with the wind farm. And the interesting discussions around that in recent years. And of course, one thing to see along a road trip is trains. I remember as a kid even playing the alphabet game by looking for letters on them or just counting train cars as a way to pass the time. As we go further east, we see more trees. And in fact, right here we really have somewhat of a forest up ahead of us. Getting in the vicinity of Dallas-Fort Worth. And here we're actually detoured off the interstate because it turns out there was an accident. You can see this ranch here and the greenery around it. It'll be even greener further east of here. And here's what happened that caused all this detour. We were slowed down for hours because of this, but there were some other people who had a much worse day than we did. And I tried filming this to get some fireflies, but they didn't show up in the video. It's too bad. Now actually in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we start seeing city lights and more signs and more people. And along the entire path, we were looking at flags to see who flew American flags, who flew Texas flags, who flew both, which one was higher. In this case, we have two car dealership-sized flags. And over here's a Buc-ee's truck stop. I hear there's some people who are big fans. Never stopped at one myself, though. And off the interstate, down one of the side highways, toward where we're staying for the week. We arrived very late. But beautiful scenery to greet us in the morning. This field for growing hay, and also for horses. Horses are a bit wild, at least not fully tame, and not well trained. It's the horse barn up ahead. So there's the horse barn behind me. I'm getting bit by mosquitoes right now. Trying to give you a feel for how thick the vegetation is out here. Walking through a horse trail. The horses like to come along this way. We gotta dodge underneath the various trees and stuff too, and vines. Sort of fun here. Get a feel for how humid it is. We're not in Louisiana, but we're not far from it. This is what East Texas looks like. And one of the awesomest things we found in the woods here was this twin tree with a pool in the middle. And here are the horses.
Girl.
Not 100% safe. Be a little bit careful.
Hello, girl. There you go. Stop.
Hello.
Look what Daddy got.
And an annoying dog.
Because the dog barking and there was a different dog that was Daddy barking.
And cute little kittens. Generations of cats out here live in the woods and are cared somewhat for. And caterpillars as well as cats. Furry ones and bald ones, whether fat or skinny. And if you hear that noise back there, that's the county coming by to clear off the trees near the power lines that happen to come across the land here. They don't announce themselves very well. They just show up on the land and start cutting branches and don't necessarily clean up after themselves either. There's the county courthouse. Wherever you go, county courthouses are some of the nicest looking buildings. Some kind of message there, I guess. That's like an old town part over here. Up the highway is a nice place to visit. You have a lot of jarred fruits and vegetables and more fruit ice cream. And a lot of novelties for decorations. In terms of canned/jarred goods, there's all kinds of things here. And cleverly named toe jam. And things I've never had before, at least not in this form.
And vanilla.
Peach.
Flavor?
Strawberry and banana.
Okay. As we're eating lunch, Bobo's Crawfish and Barbecue. And there's no air conditioning, so we got fans. And do not rub eyes after eating. Let's see those. That's mac and cheese. Mac and cheese with brisket and jalapenos and onion. That's tater tots, as you can tell by the look of tater tots. Here's the crawfish with potato and corn. This is 1 pound of crawfish here. I sort of expected it might be fewer crawfish than that. I've never had crayfish before. Crawfish, whatever. Oh, yeah, I pull its head off, don't I? Sometimes I like to eat vegetarian.
You found the butter.
The butter's right there. Hey. To give a feel for how thick the vegetation is here, how thick the trees are, we get to see what it looks like. We're heading toward Louisiana and Caddo Lake. Johnson's Ranch, Marina, and novelties for decorations. Apples, tomatoes. Second time we've been here to rent boats. It's a great experience both times. On the other side of the lake is Louisiana. We took 3 boats, only one overturned while we were in the lake. It can be very peaceful here. There's a W. Ladders that tell you what path you're on. You match those to the map. We're on U. And all this is real. That's what it looks like deeper into the trees. Some of those awesome roots stick up. It's more amazing in real life than it seems here. There's also these paths to follow. They've cut through the trees. And the current pushes against you if you're going up current. There were birds everywhere. It's hard to appreciate here really what it looked like in real life. And over here, sort of a meadow, so to speak, full of flowers on lily pads. The dragonflies flying around also. There's a heron in the distance. Also saw other birds and turtles. They don't show up in the video here.
It might come out.
So, Caddo Lake is beautiful, but where did it get its name from? That was from the Caddo people who used to live in that area until they were forcibly removed in the mid-1800s. The Caddo Nation currently has its capital in Binger, Oklahoma, outside of the land where they used to live. Perhaps one of the good places to learn about the Caddo Nation is from the website mycaddonation.com. They have information here about the government, heritage, culture, and more of the people. So, it's a beautiful place. And it wasn't quite the same before as it is now. The lake was expanded through damming. But still, it's a lovely place, peaceful, beautiful. But we got to remember, what do we owe to the people whose lives and land and more that we took from? On our way out now, with other novelty for decorations. And here in uncertain Texas, a lot of things are named uncertain. Haven't looked up where that name came from. Meanwhile, if you like the video, be sure to subscribe. Bye, y'all.